Here's how I made the Lego Deadpool trailer in just 4 days.
Get out of here!
I divided the trailer into scenes, marking each location change on the timeline. Since I'm familiar with scene work and Lego animations, breaking it down felt like the best approach. The first day, I only finished the first scene, but it was a pretty hefty one with 10 characters and multiple angles of this big location. Plus, I had to take my kids to tutoring, music lessons, Cub Scouts. Monday was a busy day. Fortunately, I made up for lost time on the second day by finishing the remaining main scenes, including the birthday party, the hallway scene, and the green room meeting. These scenes were less intricate with fewer characters, allowing me to work through them quickly. While the big chunks were finally done, seeing all these little tiny clips down my timeline was a little overwhelming, but I just put my head down and pushed through. I set up some recurring characters like Deadpool, obviously, and also the TVA Minutemen. Some shots were quick, like this one, 4 walls, a ceiling, and a floor, and a walk cycle on a bunch of characters. This shot was simple since there's barely any movement or set design. One bummer though is I did actually fully design his shirt, but the camera angle cut off his name tag. Oh well. Another relatively simple shot, Deadpool walking up to the camera. And then boom, another big scene. I had to build out this giant room, which was luckily just the portions that were in frame. However, I spent too much time hemming and hawing over how to do the MCU shots. I didn't want to do live action footage, and I also didn't want to spend an extra 4 days creating 6 whole scenes that would live for about 2.5 seconds on screen. So, I opted to just do some simple images of the MCU main characters, since the essence of the scene is just bringing Wade into the MCU. I think it works. Near the end of the day, after I got the kids to bed, I had a surge of motivation and knocked out all these montage shots. They were relatively straightforward and didn't have a lot of movement, so it was really just building out basic locations and moving the camera. Except for this one. This walking shot with Deadpool and Wolverine took a lot of finessing. I had to build out the world, which was just a very simple, like, walls on either side and floors, but then I had to build out all these tables and all these people playing poker, and it just took a lot more to set up the scene. The animation was very quick, but building this out took a little bit of time, and that I fell asleep after that because I was done. On day 4, I finished up this TVA scene.
I am Marvel Jesus.
And then I jumped right into this quick little montage. This actually didn't take a lot of time because it's a bunch of really small moments and it's just Deadpool in an empty room with another guy's arm coming into frame. So it was mostly just finding the right angles and lighting and everything. And so I actually got through this pretty quick and I did it as one project. And then comes the iconic elevator scene. When I saw the trailer in the Super Bowl, I got so pumped to just do this shot because it was so funny and it's just so animated. And I was really proud of the knee kick that I got there. Then came these outdoor shots. A lot of them I repeated the same location in just different angles, which helped me get shots done a lot faster. So I basically just needed like an uneven ground, colored white for snow, and then, trees in the background, and then obviously this truck that's randomly in the background, and the original footage. And then I got to the reload shot, which was this was a tricky one to do. The set was easy to build out just because I only had to create the part of the logo that was going to be seen by the camera. But the tricky part was animating him. Like, I animate with stepped interpolation, which is animating on 2s. So making that work with slow motion was a little complicated because one option was to animate the whole thing in 120 frames a second and then in the edit slow it down, but slow motion on stop motion would look a little janky. So what I did was I animated and matched the motion of the original, and then I just removed my stepped interpolation on the parts that were slow motion, and then I think it flowed really well, and it was going in and out of stop motion, which to me felt really good.
God, please! Oh my God!
And then for this scene, I built out the very simple environment, which is, again, an uneven ground and some factory stuff in the background, a tank, just to kind of get the vibe of the set going on. I actually built out this thing that comes in and takes the TVA Minuteman with a particle emitter system, but you only see it for like 15 frames. So it was I spent a lot of time trying to make it look good, and you don't even, it could have just easily been an out of focus blob for what you do see on the camera, but it was fun setting it up. This shot of Deadpool coming out of the window, the animation itself was actually really simple. Setting it up and animating it all was a really fast process. The one bummer is like his arm and hand breaks in the original, and I did do that with the Lego, but the shot is so fast, and because it's animated on 2s, there's less frames to get that idea. So you could see his hand like completely cracks here and falls out, and then he snaps it back together like he does in the original, but it happens so fast with Lego that you don't even register that it's happening. So that was kind of a bummer, but I like the way this one turned out. This shot was cool. I actually set up a whole system, a semi-rigged system for this arm that's on this tank. If I was going to use this in a bunch of other animations, I would have done an IK rig and had a whole thing, but this is basically just parenting and like restricted rotations. For this shot, I used that same location I had earlier, which was an easy setup. In the original footage, Deadpool is swinging something, but he's also got the swords on his back. And so I had to slow it down and really look at it, and from what I can tell, it looks like nunchucks. So I made some nunchucks and I put them in, and I think it still gets across the idea. And then another quick shot, same location as the monster shot. This shot was super easy. I got this done so fast because it's just, you know, the hands shooting the guns, and then it's just a blurred HDR in the background, which is simple. This was really fun. I haven't really done an action shot like this before, so it was really fun to kind of just figure out the mechanics of this. This was my favorite thing, and I did this like, it was like, I want to say 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was just trying to figure out how to get the blood stain idea across from the original in this car, and using studs didn't really feel right to me. And so I was just sitting there kind of racking my brain and realized fingerprints is how the blood's in it. This is one of the coolest things I had ever done in Lego, so I was really proud of that one. Another quick shot, same location. I was able to get through these so fast because I was able to kind of just do different angles from this same location that I built out.
God, I love this part.
This is what I usually do, which is dialogue scenes and things like that. So I knocked this out pretty fast.
Wait!
Another one, and you reuse that scene from earlier with the truck and the trees and the snow. The Minutemen flipping their batons was actually what I did was, in the original, they all have their own unique movement. And if you've seen my other animations, you know that I like to go as detailed and accurate as I possibly can. But for this one, I actually registered them all hitting it at the same time, and I liked the idea of them all doing it at the same time. So what I did was I animated the leader doing it, and then copied the animation, pasted it on another one, and then offset it so he's following, and then I just instanced that Minuteman, and which means I copied him. So all of them are the same, they're using the same animation and everything, and then it was a very quick animation. So it was like, phoom, and it looks good to me. I like it. This was a rigid body simulation, which was really fun to figure out and just kind of have it look realistic, like, you know, Wade is getting thrown through this wall. And then, you know, the final shot, which is also another really simple shot, just Deadpool on a ground and then the shadow coming up. Anyway, that's how I did the Deadpool Wolverine trailer in 4 days.
Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much.